Question 1055. What's your favourite flap?
Flap?
Yeah.
Favorite what?
Flap.
F-L-A-P?
Yes.
I'll be right back.
I fear what she's
Can you
going
make
to
that
show
American?
us.
No, the flapjack. Definitely the flapjack.
That's not really a flap.
You did not define, the parameters for what makes a flap, Dave.
Yeah,
Therefore, I may answer flapjack. Flapjack. Yes, that's it. Fuck off. I win.
So a fucking pancake?
Yes.
No, a flap is something. Well, okay. Never Again says define flaps. Harmonica Man says jacks. Hanging with John Wild says pussy lips. Fair enough.
So that works, but not pancake. Okay.
Kevin says butt flaps. Jefferson Spatchcock says the vulva. Math big. Milking Stool says beef flaps. Well, what do you call the thing a cat goes in and out of?
Cat door?
Yeah, I was going to say
door?
a cat door.
Yeah.
Well, they're cat flaps.
Also,
a flap
could be
is
a dog door.
It would be a dog flap. Do you not call those? What do you call something that swings?
A door?
Doggy door.
A door?
Cat flaps.
Nobody calls them.
It never occurred to me.
Never heard them called cat flaps. You weirdo.
Oh, Jefferson meant the uvulva, the thing hanging at the back of the throat. That's a bit flappy.
The uvula.
Uvula, sorry. Do you not use flap? What do you? Any of you sailed?
Oh, okay. I know what you mean now.
It's usually a bit of bloody plastic or a bit of wood that swings.
Right, but like when we're talking about a door, I don't think anyone that I know calls them a flap.
There we go. There you go. See what Kaz put in there. Noun: a thin piece of cloth, plastic, paper, metal, etc. that is hinged or attached on one side only and covers the openings or hangs down from something, i.e. the flap of an envelope.
Okay.
My favorite flap is from the movie Click, where he got liposuction and he flips it up and down. Says, "It's my flap, I'll do what I want with it."
There you go. Hans says a cat flap. Kevin says, I've definitely heard it called a cat flap. Hanging with John Soil says, flap should be a British thing. Now everyone's telling me off for missaying uvula. Jenny, have you brought a flap?
Well, now, since I came back and you mentioned this British thing, what's the American equivalent of flap in this context?
I have no clue. You have flaps,
right.
I believe.
Kaz put the definition in the private chat just so you guys know the exact definition of a flap. Thank you.
What
Kaz.
would you say? What would you call what she has described? Do you not call that a flap?
We just don't. I don't know. We're
I just
fucking
don't
stupid
really-
Americans, Dave. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Who
really
made-
use
who
the
made
word
this
flap
suggestion?
very often.
Who made this suggestion? I'm trying to find it.
The suggestion in the private chat of the StreamYards.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll put it in the thingy chat as well, though, if you want it. Julie says, in that case, my favourite flap are the flaps in the wings of a theatre. Never Again says, I've lost completely. Stool says, do mermaids have flaps? No. Never Again says, then lickless pre-glued flaps are my favourite. Lickless pre-glued flaps are my favourite.
Press
Fair
and
enough.
seal. Hell yeah.
My first thought when you asked the question and I got up to go PT was flapjacks.
Well, that's what people keep saying, but they're not flaps.
Well,
I mean,
it
they're
wasn't defined at the
flappy.
time.
They're flappy. So,
Jen
I
says
mean,
Terry fold
Flap them
flaps.
onto the skillet. I don't know.
what about a belly flap? Just
That's a belly flop.
No, like what I was saying earlier is like you have a little flap on your belly that you can play with.
Well, yes, I think so. Julie says, but we actually. Harmonica Man says mud flaps are handy for keep flinging
They
gravel
are.
in place.
Yes.
Mud flaps are good, are they?
See, that's the only flap that I would know of is a mud flap. Like, and I know that makes me sound unintelligent, but that's the only one I know.
Spooky says butterfly flapping is pretty. Do you not think birds flap?
I mean, I don't call it bird flapping though. I call it flying.
No, they're flying.
Well, they
when
flap
they're-
their wings to fly.
Yeah, they flap their.
Have you ever noticed how different species of birds have a different style of flapping
Yes.
their wings? I think
No.
it's really amazing how many different styles there are of the same basic machine that will achieve the same end result. It's pretty fascinating.
Hanging with John Wild.
To me, anyways, I guess.
Vaguely. Hanging with John Wild says COVID-19 affecting my brain, so flap is sex to me somehow. Okay. Insect flaps sound not too bad. Hanging with John Wild says 1920 flapper girls.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a smart person right there. That's awesome.
Sirif says, what about the flaps on boxes? Not wrong. Stool says, I'm not
There's
saying
flaps
piss
and
flaps.
skirts too.
No.
What was it? What did you say, B?
Flaps and skirts.
Oh, okay.
Flaps are skirts? I've never heard that.
In skirts or flaps in skirts.
Pleats?
There you go. Julie is commenting on the fact that crows and ravens flap their wings differently. 9 o'clock hero says too many flaps to choose. Kevin says defenestrated girls, they can learn to flap.
What?
Can they now? That really depends on the girl. Manda,
I answered.
you can't have flapjacks.
I don't give a fuck.
Oh, did you say flapjacks too?
Yes, flapjacks. You can't have flapjacks.
Well, then I think they're allowed. Then that's two of us.
Yeah, it's only because you want to use it as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first thing I thought of.
But it's not a flap. It's a pastry.
It's not a pastry.
Oh God, what the hell is a? I don't know what a flapjack is. It's a cake. It's not really a cake.
It's a pancake. But I mean, if
It's
you
not
call
a
it
pancake.
a pastry,
Oh, hey, you
if
guys,
you
I have
call
to
it
go.
a pastry, you
Okay.
can call
See you,
like
Jenny.
you
later,
could
Jenny.
call
Bye-bye.
any. No, I win.
You win.
Pancake
Jeff,
it
what's your
is.
favourite flap?
Okay. Right. Okay. I'm gonna put it in the live chat there. Filthy rich and cat flap.
So a cat
Say
flap
that
is the
again?
answer.
Filthy rich and cat flap. To be well, because it was a fucking good comedy series.
Oh,
And Rick Mail was the closest thing to God on Earth, with the possible exception of Lemmy from Motorhead.
Wait, what have I missed?
Nobody has a goddamn clue what he's talking about.
No.
I-
Quentin, what's your favourite flap?
I'm gonna have to go with my first answer. The scene in
Very
Click where
good.
he's playing with his belly flap.
Fair enough. B.
I really like the mud flap thing. They are really good. They're very handy, and they save you a lot of money. But I also like the flap on skirts because you can open them.
That's
You
the whole
you,
point
Dave?
of a flap.
Girl.
A flap is meant to be openable.
What about you, Dave? What's your favorite flap?
Oh, I really should think of answers to these questions. Sammy says vaginal flaps.
I thought of that, Sammy, and I left it alone. But believe me, it crossed my mind. It's
You're
like the
saying
second
it
thing I thought of.
wrong. You don't call them vaginal flaps. You call them pussy flaps. Duh.
Yeah, duh.
Never
For being
again.
so politically correct while you're being nasty.
Oh, never again says those big freezer and refrigerator flaps they use in warehouses are cool too. I do like them. Yeah, I'm gonna go with them. The big freezer, yeah.
Keeps the cold air in, yeah.
Keeps the
Those
cold
are
air
great.
in.
My flappy folds.
Well, if that's the definition, then I have a screen flap
Mm.
over my opening for my door, and I
Oh,
really
yeah.
like that because my cats can't get out.
Yeah.
Well,
There you go, Manda. Sammy has changed
Theoretically.
his answer to fit your
Yes,
requirements.
thank you, Sammy. I
Who'd
appreciate
have
it.
thought you cared so much?
Dave, this show is dangerous right now because it taught me something.
We're not allowed to be educational. If you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. If you think you've got a better answer or just want to tell us how wrong we are, leave a comment down below. Subscribe down here for new questions every day and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live shows. If you click over here, you'll see our latest upload. Over here, for what YouTube thinks you'll love the most. And finally, for a complete playlist of all our currently released questions, click here.